How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Everything Vive. I am Zane here with Ronnie. Ronnie, how's it going, man?
It's going well. Hopefully it'll be a nice week. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving, spending time with the family and everything. So what about you?
Absolutely, same here. Well, for everyone listening, we hope you are having a happy Monday and got some cool plans for the holiday week, at least those in the U.S. celebrating Thanksgiving. Before we jump into the news for this week, though, I just want to make a real quick announcement. It was brought to my attention that we had the wrong setting on, and so we only had the last 10 episodes available on iTunes, and I believe probably some of the other platforms that were on there. I did make that change, so for anyone who's new to the podcast or is recently new to the podcast, all episodes starting from episode 1 through episodes 24, this is episode 25. Man, Ronnie, can you believe we're at episode 25 already?
That's crazy, actually.
So all episodes should be available. They're also on YouTube, but if you prefer to listening through audio-only formats like iTunes, all episodes should be on there. So feel free to go back through and listen, especially since we had some interviews that were in those first, I want to say 15 episodes, especially the one with Logan Olson from Soundstage, I think was in there for sure.
Okay.
So, moving on, let's start. We got a couple of news items for this week. I think the big one that Ronnie and I are excited to talk about is the Black Friday sale coming up. And I know we've been alluding to it for a while, but we have some details. And so for anyone who doesn't have a Vive yet, the Vive will be available for $100 off anywhere it is sold, according to the blog on Vive's website. So whether you're getting it on Newegg, Amazon, or whatever, even if you're get it from HTC itself, the Vive is
Micro Center
or Micro Center,
anywhere, pretty much.
Any retailer, just anywhere they said that it is sold, it should be $100 off. So get it while you can. That's more than 10% discount, and on a big item like this, I'd say that's pretty good. Viveport will also have some sales as well, and what they were advertising is that if you spend $30, you get $10 back. And I'm assuming that's probably $10 in additional credit. It's not like you save $10, but still you'd be able to spend that on other apps. But it looks like they had a couple of items here. Looks like, I believe it's a $5 bundle that includes the 3 most popular apps. So for $5, you get Soundstage, Arcade Artist, and Lumen. And I haven't tried Arcade Artist or Lumen, but for Soundstage, if you can get that for $5 plus other content, that's a pretty good deal. So
yeah,
definitely check
that sounds awesome. I mean, I know I'm going to be checking those out, and I mean, in addition to those sales, I mean, in general, Steam always has good discounts around any holiday, so that's also worth checking out, just in case they have anything separate. But I think it's a good sign that that the Vive is going to be on sale, because maybe that's kind of an indicator that some of these headsets are now going to be competing a little bit with each other on price. I mean, it's been $800 since it came out, and it's worth $800. But if the prices are going to start, going down, then hopefully that means it's going to become more and more accessible for people that are kind of on the fence. So I think that's very exciting news. And for anyone that has been kind of teetering as to whether or not they want to spend the $800, and hopefully this is a sign of good things to come.
Yeah, for sure. So it's funny you say that, because I actually have a friend who I was talking to yesterday. He's been going back and forth with me via text, just like, should I get a Vive? Should I get an Oculus? He's hearing good things about both. And then actually what sold him, he's like, hey, Vive is going to be $100 off for the holidays, so I'm just going to jump on that. I haven't heard if Oculus will be, but he hasn't said anything. I don't know. He's been doing the research. So $100, it matters, I guess, when you're spending that much money. It's a good deal. A couple other ones, though. It looks like they're gonna have. There's like a list of 20-something titles that'll also be 50% off. And I know one of the ones that I'm planning to get is Chair in the Room, the Greenwater experience. So there's, like I said, there's a bunch on that list. I don't want to list them all out here, but that was one of the highlights that at least I'm targeting. And so this sale goes from Thursday midnight, so I believe Thursday like 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to Monday midnight. So you'll have a good couple of days to mull it over and maybe see some reactions from other people who get it. But I would say definitely jump on these deals, because we don't get anything out of it, but Black Friday is a big thing here in the U.S. For anyone outside of the U.S. And so if you can score some deals here during that time, this is probably the cheapest you're going to see, or maybe not the cheapest, but at least these are some of the best deals that you're going to see for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear anything else about that, Ronnie? Or
about the sales and everything? Not specifically. No. Like I said, though, Steam is always just a good. I mean, for VR titles and non-VR titles, they always do a great job of having a lot of good discounts around the holiday seasons, and it's definitely worth. Now that we have Viveport as well, I mean, keep your eyes on both of those, and I would recommend even comparing the two and making sure you're getting the best deal possible out of either store. So, because now it's easy to run games on either platform. So I personally don't think there's an advantage to getting it on one store or the other. It's really just about, what the best price is and what you prefer to do. So, but yeah, it's exciting. I'm definitely gonna be checking out both stores to see what I can pick up during the holiday.
Yeah, I did check Steam last night. I didn't see anything yet, but once they do post their sales or have a more comprehensive list of things, maybe you and I can talk about that on Friday's episode for Game Talk.
Yeah, no, in my experience, until the sale, until it's the holiday, it's kind of a little bit unclear as to what's going to go on sale and what isn't. So,
and sometimes do they have daily sales where stuff changes every single day? Yeah,
I mean, there's sales all the time, but at a big holiday like this, they'll just put massive sales on. So, I mean, you're talking there'll be 100 titles plus probably on sale. So,
that's
from
really
various.
exciting.
Yeah, so from various, it depends, obviously, and there's, don't quote me on the exact number, but trust me when I say, there'll be a lot of games to check out, and a lot of times they're titles that people really care about, as opposed to, ones that you might not. So if there are any titles that you've been on the fence about because of the price, it's worth making sure that they're either on your wish list or that you're kind of, just perusing that list once it's Thursday or Friday, so that you don't miss anything that you might otherwise want to pick up.
For sure. And like I said, we'll make sure to highlight some of the titles, at least what we're interested in on Friday's episode. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And Steam does a great job, and I'm excited. I've been saving up for this. I got my budget ready, and I'm just going to be spending. Make sure you add titles to your wish list too. That's a big tip that I think, Ronnie, you gave me a while back. If you add the titles to your wish list and they go on sale, I think you usually get some kind of notification, right?
Yeah, I think so. So at least that's what. Yeah, I haven't tested that during a holiday sale or anything, but I'm sure it applies the same way. I just noticed that titles that I was putting on my wish lists, when they would go on normal weekend or daily sales, I would get an email notification letting me know. So.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I mean, I would assume that they would do it for the holidays as well. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm sure all that stuff is automated. So
exactly. No, I'm sure. So
cool. Okay, so moving on from the Black Friday stuff, which we'll try to follow even more so as the week goes along. But moving on from that, I think another thing you and I wanted to discuss was the HTC Vive actually being featured on Conan's show, Conan O'Brien. And so if you've seen it, or for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's about a 7-minute clip, and it's pretty basic, but Conan essentially went to the YouTube VR headquarters and tried out. He played Tilt Brush, Job Simulator, and a boxing game, which I can't remember the name of right now. But they showed the video of him playing this stuff in mixed reality, and it's Conan, so it was humorous. It was his humor. But regardless, I think this is a really big step for VR reaching the mainstream. And I read a couple of different articles where people were discussing this, and the authors of those articles were kind of essentially saying the same thing, that this is a way for people to really see what the HTC Vive can do. And because right now I feel like you and I have talked about the marketing behind, and how I didn't even know that the HTC Vive existed until a couple months ago when I came over to your place, and so I don't know. What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, I thought it was cool. It kind of surprised me that, because I watched the video without knowing that it was going to necessarily be the Vive. So when I knew that they were going to Google headquarters, I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I wonder, if they're going to show off, the Pixel or something to that effect. And then when I saw him strap on a Vive and pull out the wands, I started kind of laughing, like, huh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, especially considering Tilt Brush is made for the Vive and all of that, and Google VR recently, or I mean, Google VR, Google Earth VR recently came out, and so Google has put its support to the HTC Vive as well as other platforms. So I just thought it was neat that they focused on the Vive itself. I don't think they ever mentioned the fact that it was a Vive during the video. So that's one thing that I would have liked to see them do, just to be a little bit more. And maybe I didn't see him talk about virtual reality outside of the kind of his visit to the headquarters and everything. It's possible that he mentioned that it was on sale and that it's the Vive system that he tried. I'm not really sure, but I did think it was cool though that they tried out Tilt Brush and Job Simulator and like you said, I'm trying to think of what I actually have that boxing title myself. I'm gonna have
Thrill
to
of the Fight or something.
Yeah, it is. It's Thrill of the Fight.
Okay, there you go.
So, but they were good choices for what he did, I guess, and yeah, just in general, I thought it was cool to see titles that I was familiar with on a nationally broadcasted TV show. So it is a good, especially around the holiday season, just making sure that people are aware that VR exists. Hopefully we'll see more content like that kind of points people in the direction of what they need to do in order to purchase it. So, but yeah, good news all around.
No, for sure. And the thing with you're right, because I didn't think about that initially with them not mentioning the HTC Vive, and I don't know if there was some contractual thing, but either way, like I think it's good that people are getting to see what's out there, because right now I would assume most people are just seeing either the commercials for like the Daydream, or not Daydream, the Pixel phone coming out, or Samsung Gear VR, or PS VR, PlayStation VR. So hopefully if anybody was moved enough to go do some research on what the games were and things like that, that'll lead them to the Vive, and obviously what a great experience that is. But but for them to go to Google's headquarters and for them to be using the HTC Vive, I'm actually not as surprised, because I came across an article earlier this week talking about, it was essentially with Google responding to, I guess, people who were wondering why Google Earth VR was only available on the HTC Vive and no other platform. And they came out and said that they have a great relationship with Valve, and I don't know if they're trying to be exclusive about it, because I know people get kind of iffy about exclusivity, but it's cool to see that they have that relationship with Valve, where they are developing some great stuff, and they are keeping up to date with all the new features that the Vive will have, because it does seem like the Vive is at the forefront right now when it comes to prototypes in terms of, well, controllers is working on that next generation controller and the wireless stuff. So you would just hope that Google can stay on good terms with them, and hopefully they will, but continue to innovate and create more experiences like Earth VR. Tilt Brush was amazing when it came out, and it still is for people who have never tried it before.
Yeah. I mean, still in general, I think the Vive, I mean, and this is just a guess, obviously, but I think it's super helpful that it came out as one piece of kit. So the fact that the controllers, the tracking, like everything is packaged together, that everyone that has a Vive is going to get to experience it the same way. And I would have to imagine that that's a huge plus for developers, because that you can develop your software around specific specs and know that people are going to all have a comparable experience, versus even a high-end system like the Oculus. You can't really count on necessarily getting all of the user bases with the touch controllers even a couple of months out from now. I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. Not everyone's going to have the touch and have multiple tracking cameras and whatnot. So I would think that that's played into their favor, and hopefully that means a continuation of great software coming out.
Yeah, exactly. And this isn't to rag on Oculus. I mean, I know this is a Vive-centric show, but you do bring up a great point. And so I just have to assume that it's got to be much easier for developers, because exactly what they're getting. I mean, I would think that Oculus at some point will want to transition to the same kind of offer where they have everything kind of together in one kit, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be doing that with the Touch coming out. It seems like the Touch will be like an optional thing, or the Touch controls will be an optional thing.
The point, like, even if they do bundle it once the Touch comes out, that still doesn't apply to all the users that already have Oculus Rifts. So I mean, either that, I mean, I would hope that a large portion of people that already own Rifts are going to go out and purchase the Touch controllers, because it will make such a huge difference to their experience. I hope it, sells as well as the original headsets did. But like I said, even if Oculus bundles them together going forward, you still have, the 100,000 plus probably people, approximately around there, that purchased Oculus Rifts before, that are now going to have to go out and buy Touch controllers separately. And, there's going to be a portion of those people that don't end up getting the Touch controllers right away, or don't get them at all. And you can't really, I mean, if you're going to develop software that requires the Touch controllers, then those people are going to be left out. So, I mean, I would imagine at some point they're probably going to start moving in that direction anyways, but, it's just, that's one hurdle that Oculus has to worry about, at least for the, current generation of their hardware, that HTC doesn't have to worry about. So,
well, the new controllers coming out for HTC, hopefully by next year, may be a small hurdle for them, but that to me is a good kind of hurdle, because it's an innovation on something that's already out there, rather than kind of piecemealing the experience. You're kind of just building on it.
Yeah, we're not exactly sure yet how that's going to go down anyway.
True.
So, I mean, for all we know, I mean, I would think that they're going to release it separately, but if it ends up taking longer to release than they expect, like, who knows if that's going to come out with a new headset or so. But point well said. Like, we don't know exactly yet if HTC might take a similar route with introducing new controllers as well. So,
well, we'll follow that as we go. This turned into a completely different conversation than Conan, or the HTC Vive being on Conan. But okay, so let's move on to the last point. This is going to be a quick one. And obviously, we'll be following it more once more details are out. But you actually sent me the article earlier this morning about Tactical Haptics raising $2.2 million in funding for creating some type of cross-functional accessories and features for both Oculus and HTC Vive. Do you have more info on that?
Well, I don't have a ton of specific. That's actually interesting, though, that it's a pretty good segue from what we were just discussing. It makes sense to me if they can, if the tracking systems work, that it would be nice to have controllers that work across all platforms to kind of unify things a bit. But I don't know how realistic that is, or how easily it would be for either company or developers to adopt such a system. But regardless, it looks like you said they're called. I don't want to misphrase their name or misquote their name. Is it Haptic? What was it?
Tactical
the name
Haptics.
Of the company? Yeah, so Tactical Haptics. It sounds like they've been around in making these types of controllers since 2013 or earlier. So around the same time that Oculus was starting to kind of make its rounds in GDC or during GDC, but they've been working in this field for a while, and it looks like they're raising money to, hopefully bring their controllers to more developers. It looks like they have the type of technology that they're working on has to do mostly with the grip of the controllers, and kind of having these different plastic pieces, or I don't know exactly what they're made of, I guess. But
it's like a reactive grip developer kit is what they were trying to get out there.
Yeah, but essentially it looks like there's 4 or more different sections of moving parts on the outside of the grip of the controllers, and depending on what you're doing in the game, you can have all of them move in unison up and down, or you can have a couple move up while a couple of the others move down, and based on how those movements correlate with on-screen movement, you can get rough approximations of, like pistol feedback, like kind of a kickback, or you can get feedback from hitting objects, which I know is something that a lot of times when I'm playing, games with the Vive, I kind of, feel like I'm missing, is kind of that feedback that I'm actually kind of hitting into something if I have a sword or something like that. So if this type of technology makes that feedback more pronounced than just the haptic motors that are already in the controllers, that are kind of a more subtle, rumble like sensation, then that's good news. So either a third party company brings that type of technology in their own controllers, or I would have to imagine probably more. It would be even better if that type of technology is picked up by the other platforms and you have first party applications of that technology in future controllers. But either way, I like the idea of people raising and spending money to develop these types of solutions, because if the third parties are coming up with them, then you would imagine it's going to be filtered down to the officially, supported controllers in the future. So,
yeah, I pulled up a quick the Road to VR article that you'd sent me. It looks like the author here is calling them one of the OGs of VR. They've been around since 2013. I think they tried to raise. They had a Kickstarter campaign that unfortunately failed that year. They were trying to raise like 175,000, but only got 90,000, so it's about half. But now they've gotten the funding to start developing stuff for both the Oculus and Vive platforms.
I would have to imagine. Yeah, I would have to imagine that they were in a much different situation back in 2013, trying to raise money for their controllers versus now. And there's actually
there's a consumer base for it now.
Yeah, I mean, because before, like I watched the video from 2013 or whatever. Like there's a link to the video, I think, in that article at roadtovr.com that shows what they were kind of pitching at the time. And they were positioning it as, you might want to use this in virtual reality sometimes down the line, but they were still mostly dealing with, just like, haptic feedback in normal 3D games at the time. So
gotcha.
It was obviously more, they were probably looking into the future, I think, in some of what their applications would be. So.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely follow this more as it goes along. Obviously, they don't have any details right now. It's just the funding, but that is an exciting development. So we will see what happens. You got any other news for this week, Ronnie?
No, not really. That's pretty much it.
All right. Well, we will continue to keep you guys updated. This Wednesday, we'll have another great interview for you guys, and then Friday, our usual game talk. In the meantime, though, I'll just reiterate again, like I said in the beginning, all of our episodes are now available on iTunes. I know it was only showing the last 10 for I don't know how long. I guess once we had gotten past 10 episodes, and so just a quick shout out to Jessica and Reshma, who let me know about that over the weekend. So it is available, and all episodes are available on iTunes, Stitcher, and of course we also post the episodes up on YouTube for anybody who prefers to listen there. But please subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment, let us know how we're doing, and just connect with us. It's been awesome so far, connecting with developers, connecting with people who don't even have a Vive yet and are just asking questions. And so whatever it is, we just love talking about this stuff. And so have a great rest of your week. Have a great Monday. And I guess we'll talk to you guys before the holidays. So with that, Ronnie, you got anything else?
Nope, that's it. So have a good holiday for those in the U.S., and we will be back with more content soon.
Yep. All right. We'll end it here then. Take care, guys.